Hello. This story is entitled Discomfiting Olivia as Coyote Comes to Bay Ridge. The drawing you see in the background is one I did of the Verrazano Bridge in the neighborhood where I lived and very close to where the school was where I taught. The drawing was made from what's called Cannonball Park, looking up at the bridge. Right in the middle of a ceramics class, Olivia saw something about herself. And in that moment, Coyote sang in Brooklyn. "Oh, Sean," said Olivia sweetly, "would you please get me a piece of clay?" She said this as she was sitting in the studio, throwing on one of the potter's wheels. Throwing on the wheel is a technical term in ceramics referring to the demanding practice of centering and shaping a lump of clay on the rotating head of a potter's wheel. In a classroom, throwing clay can be an unfortunate term, since the temptation for many students of all ages is to make clay balls and throw them at the walls or at each other. But in this case, Olivia was diligently attempting to learn how to throw clay in the creative way. She was an attractive, outgoing girl, a graduating senior at the prep, ensconced at the wheel with her lap towel covering her knees. Her hands were covered with clay. She had been absorbed in her practice and having a good time. Finished with one piece of clay she had made into a small cylinder, she cut it off the wheel and set it aside. Being comfortable and not particularly wanting to get up, Olivia had asked her classmate to bring her some more clay. Sean was just the sort of guy to say yes. So he ducked his head a little and said, all right. It looked as if he was going to help her. Nice guy. He was going to do it. Coyote sang out, Don't do that." Olivia was shocked. She said, "Mr. Randall, he was going to be nice. Why don't you want him to?" And she went on like this for a minute. Then she came back around to her original goal and said, "Oh, Sean," sweetly, "would you get me a—" "Sean, don't do it," I affirmed, and thank goodness he didn't. He too was surprised, but went on with his business. "Sean, I'm so glad you didn't help her, because this is a huge opportunity for Olivia to learn something. She'll be prepared next time. If you're going to throw on the wheel, you want at least 6 pieces of clay ready to go. You don't want to just have one and then interrupt yourself to get another one a few minutes later. Have everything you need right with you." So by this time, she had gotten up and was going back to the clay table to replenish her supply. She didn't know it, but Coyote was on her trail. Olivia always sashayed a little when she walked and was accentuating it at the moment because she was miffed at me. I felt her resentful gaze, but didn't look at her. Continuing my own work on a hand-built piece. Glaring at me, she said, "Mr. Randall, I'm resenting you." "Great, of course you are." "What?" "Of course you're resenting me," I agreed. "You always resent growth, especially if somebody is making you do it." Olivia thought, "That's right, I do. Thanks." Despite being corrected, she sounded truly appreciative. "You're welcome." She went on back to the wheel with her new clay. "You and the rest of the human race," I said. Everyone resents growth." She responded, "Oh, well, thanks." "You're welcome, but it won't help a bit. When it happens, you're still going to feel it." She said, "Thanks a lot." This time it sounded more like, "Thanks for nothing." "But next time, you're going to know something brand new." She looked at me. Her look at me was quizzical. What? You're going to know what's happening. You can recognize the fact that, wow, I resent this. And that's different from what was going on with you before. Olivia's look told me that she was still listening. Go on. Coyote was standing right there with her. The real Olivia is a lot more savvy than the thought-up one. The real one recognizes your discomfort, but doesn't identify primarily with it or with the clay you're working on or the you that's working on it. You may be made of clay, but the clay you can't witness itself being resentful. The real Olivia can, because now she has coyote wisdom. It sees you ahead of time. Thanks for listening.